Hello, everyone. Welcome to the IT Journeys and Convos podcast. Today, with me, I have Susan Darwish. Susan is the VP for IIBA Calgary. If you don't know, IIBA is the International Institute for Business Analysis. And we've seen a growth in business analysis over the years. And one of the places where we've seen a very large number or large increase in this growth is in Calgary, and the IIBA has played a big role in bringing professionals together and giving professionals resources which they need to succeed as business analysts. Susan Darwish, as vice president for the IIBA, is crucial to this, and she's also done a lot for the community as a leader for the IIBA. Apart from this, Susan is also an accomplished business analyst, as you would imagine. She's been volunteering not only in IIBA but over the years, and she has honed her skills as a business analyst to help others. Today, we'll be talking with her about a wide range of topics, including AI, the role of AI in business analysis. We'll be talking also about volunteering. We'll be talking about success as a business analyst and how do we enhance our careers as business analysts. So today, I want you all to welcome with me Susan Darwish.
Thank you, Olumide, for that great introduction, and thank you for having me on this podcast.
You're very welcome, Susan. All right, so Susan, let's jump right into this right quickly. Usually I like to introduce my guests, but I also want you to, do a brief intro of yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey as a business analyst and how you got into this much coveted role as the VP for IIBA Calgary.
Awesome. So I think it was meant to be for me to become a business analyst because when I was younger, I really wanted to be a doctor. There were a few things in life that just didn't line up, and I got into development. And you'll see a lot of business analysts start off within the IT world. And I just got into software development and then switched over into information systems development, which focuses more on business analysis. And I just had a great passion for it. And as I started working with businesses and different organizations, I just grew that passion, grew and grew and grew. And when it comes to volunteering, I actually had a coworker and a close friend that worked and volunteered at the Calgary IIBA Calgary chapter, and they needed a director of events. So he reached out to me and proposed the role, and the rest is history. I started off as the director of events in 2018, moved into treasurer in 2022, and then just recently I became the VP of the IIBA Calgary chapter.
Wow, amazing. That's quite an interesting journey and one in, various roles in the IIBA. Funny enough, I used to be director of events for another IIBA chapter, right? So good. Right. So I'm looking at this, right, and I see that you've moved through quite a number of roles in the IIBA till you got to vice president. Now, I can see that all this has prepared you, right, to be the VP in this role. So I'm going to ask you a very interesting question, which is you're a business analyst. Um, you volunteer with the IIBA. Now, how has this volunteering experience, how does it help you enhance your career as a business analyst?
So I think when it comes to volunteering, you have to have the passion in the cause that you're volunteering for. And because I'm passionate about business analysis, and you'll see me if you ask me any questions about business analysis, I'll go on and on and on, and it's just a passion of mine. But when it comes to volunteering, because it is a volunteer role, you have to have time for it. It does really help you with the time management organization. So from that perspective, it it just it allows you to be a better BA in terms of how you organize your time. And another thing, volunteering has allowed me access to great business analysts, great minds. There are a lot of great people on the Calgary IIBA board right now that we are close friends, and we also partner with other organizations and other chapters around the world. And your network just grows and grows and grows. So, as a business analyst, I think networking and finding people with the same passion as you and people that you can reach out to if you have any questions is very valuable. And that's one of the biggest things that volunteering has given me.
I think you've covered my next question, which would have been, what skills would you gain, from volunteering? And I heard you say time management. I heard you say organization. Some of the benefits also which you spoke about include, like, expanding your network, right,
Mhm.
and helping you work with others, right. So these are things that are crucial and help people. Other What other skills do you think one can gain from volunteering asides these? Or would you say these are the main ones?
Uh, I think leadership is another big one. As business analysts, sometimes we don't tend to be in leadership positions, just the nature of our role. A lot of BAs are in the consulting world. They consult. They're not in leadership positions. But as a volunteer, especially a board member, you have volunteers under your portfolio, and just managing that portfolio, managing the team, and making sure that you have a cohesive team that works great together.
Yeah.
So I would say leadership is definitely one of those like you'll definitely gain experience in that, and you work with different people. Everybody's volunteering. Everyone's coming from a different industry, different background. So you are working with people that you might not tend to work with when you're working with in the same organization. So definitely leadership skills and working with people of different mindset, different backgrounds, and even different business analysis levels, juniors versus seniors. So that has definitely given me more, I guess, experience when it comes to leadership, just because I didn't have the opportunity to be in a lot of leadership uh, roles within the organizations I work for.
And this tends to be the thing about business analysis, right?
So,
You're most times not really in leadership, right? But you're helping to direct the way things go, right? Um,
perfect. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so can you share with us um, a successful project or a successful initiative at work where the skills you had learned from volunteering played a crucial role in your professional career or in your professional development?
I think back there was a huge project I was part of. I was assigned to a project. It was actually for a business area I've never worked in. It was a business area I didn't really have knowledge and just volunteering allowed me to have access to people and other great business analysts so I can get their advice on certain things. How do I approach this for a subject matter that I don't really have a lot of knowledge of? And then I also work with people that are in within that business unit that again, I don't have knowledge of. So it's really just working with people that you don't necessarily work with day to day. So again, that leadership skills, working with people of different backgrounds and even knowledge backgrounds. And like I said, that networking and access to that great um, pool of business analysts definitely helped when it came to that big project. And I think it's no different than anything new that you take on, whether it's a new company, a new industry, a new project. I think having access to people that are like-minded, that you can reach out to for advice, really helps you in your.
That's some amazing insight, and that shows us how we can leverage these opportunities. What advice would you give to business analysts who want to leverage volunteering opportunities. So they want to, maybe go into volunteering, or they're currently volunteering somewhere, right? What advice would you give, one, to those who are seeking to volunteer, and secondly, to those who are currently volunteering, maybe elsewhere, right? What advice would you give to these kind of people?
I would maybe take it and then maybe change the question a little bit on what advice I would give to a new BA or somebody that's entering in the new into the business analysis world is volunteer, because it gives you access to things and people and knowledge and events that you won't necessarily have access to if you didn't volunteer. So my advice is to the new BAs, to somebody that wants to volunteer, people that are volunteering right now, is do it and give back to the business analysis community. As part of volunteering, I'm also serving the BA community within Calgary. So there's a big satisfaction there that you are taking. So you're getting that network, you're getting a lot of knowledge, but you're also giving back. You're especially with the IIBA Calgary chapter, we're developing events and educational programs. So putting out things that are helping BAs develop in their, and it gives you satisfaction when somebody comes to you and says, "Oh, I just did my CBAP and I passed," or the advice you gave me was great and I applied it, and the facilitation session that I did was well. So I think volunteering in general gives people satisfaction that something else doesn't, like a paid job does. So my advice is just do it, go for it. Just make sure you have passion for the cause that you're volunteering for.
Thank you for helping reframe that question, and and helping to put some good context into it. Um, Now, there was something I did not include in my highlights of questions, right? But I'm going to ask it, right? Since you spoke about it, you had mentioned about leadership and how, as BAs, we tend to not be in leadership as much. Now, a question that a lot of people ask me is, I'm doing up my resume as a business analyst. How am I supposed to put in achievements in there? I wasn't the one who led the project. I wasn't the one who built the software. I wasn't even the one who came up with the idea for the project, right? So how do I claim accomplishments, right, in my resume? Or how do I claim accomplishments for such initiatives?
A lot of the work that business analysts do is strategy. So if I think about it, when you're going to as simple as go gather requirements. You have to have a strategy. How are you going to go about it? How are you going to bring people together? Are you going to have multiple sessions, or are you going to do it virtually? I think that in itself is an achievement. How you bring everybody together, and everybody has their own requirements. So if I look at it, you're getting a flood of information, and the the craft that the business analyst does is it takes all that information and builds something that's consumable for leadership to report back to sponsors and executives. And you're building something for developers to take and actually build something that's now tangible and we can see. So if you take the business analyst out of that equation, there's no interpretation. The PM doesn't understand what's happening. The developer doesn't know what they need to do. So I think it's a big accomplishment to take something and transform it to a language that those two parties can understand. And when it comes to leadership, I think as a business analyst, you might not be in a leadership position, but you do have to take on some leadership qualities in terms of even just facilitating a session, strategy, working with other people. And you tend to see some business analysts that maybe like more of that become solution delivery managers or IT partners, for example. They're still business analysts. They're still doing those things that BAs do, but they just have a different role. So I well, when I said it, I'm like, actually, there are BAs are in leadership roles, but it just tends to be in a different role and title.
Thank you, Susan. That's really interesting, and I like the insights, that you brought into that, right? About how PAs strategize, right? And it's all about how we're bringing people together, how we do our work, and understanding how to put all that flood of information together, right? So talking about flood of information today, um, the number one thing that's bringing lots of information together, helping to synthesize this information today is artificial intelligence, right? AI is doing a lot. And I would like to ask you, how do you see artificial intelligence impacting the business analysis profession?
I think AI is impacting everything around us, and not just BAs. It's impacting almost every role, every organization. Um, so as BAs, if we don't keep up with AI, then we might get to a point where we're not as effective in doing our job as we are now. So we really need to understand AI, the new technology, to better adapt and take advantage of machine learning or any other artificial intelligence out there. And like I said, we do work with a lot of data, and if we can find ways where we can leverage AI to take that data and help us better visualize it, or tell a business a story, or help facilitate decision making, then that is our role. So we're just leveraging a tool like any other tool. So my thing is, if we don't keep up with what's happening with AI, then we might not be as efficient as BAs within our role. So it's no different than any other disciplines. It will impact the way that we do our work.
All right, amazing. So I want to ask, right on top of that, how do you think a business analyst can leverage that, right? Because there's a lot happening in the industry, right? And
Sure.
you know, it can be overwhelming, right? So what ways do you think would be the most useful ways we can leverage it right now and in the future?
Number one, I think keep in the know. Know what tools are out there. Um, so make sure you understand. I think the last thing you want is the business to come in and talk about something that you have no idea about. So really understand it, and learn if you have a passion, let's say for Power BI, for example, a great data analytics and visualization tool. Get into it, get to really understand how to use it and use it as part of your job. And I think when you have AI in the back of your mind, you might help facilitate solutions when it comes, or decisions when it comes to different solutions out there. So I would recommend just be in the know what tools are out there. And another thing too is just make sure that you're using tools that the company is allowing for. There are a lot of policies around privacy, regulatory restrictions that some companies might not want their employees to use any forms of AI right now. So just be aware of that. Just like when you go in and you gather requirements and understand what are my legal requirements. Same thing when it comes to AI. What can I use? What can I not use? So just within the boundaries of the organization you're working with, understand what you can use and leverage to take advantage of AI. Yeah, by
I
no
think
means I'm an expert. I definitely lack a lot of knowledge when it comes to AI, but I'm definitely seeing it more. The business is coming to us with options like what about this and what about this, and so it is a reality that we have to get into. Whether you are um, passionate about technology or not, it is something that's coming our way, and we should learn more about it and take advantage of it.
exactly, exactly. My next question was actually, about ethical consideration or challenges to using AI in business analysis, and you've answered this, very clearly, right? So it's one of the things. Apart from actually using those AI tools, you also have to con- consider what your business environment is like, right? What the operational environment is like, and know what are the ethical boundaries, right? Also understand things like privacy requirements, right, around the use of AI within your industry, within your organization, right?
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that business analysts should be mindful of, right?
Yeah. Quite often
Um,
you get into a project, you get so ahead of in a project, and then you're like, oh, we need to go to IT. They need to do a risk assessment because now there's privacy and uh, like other regulatory requirements involved. So if you get onto it ahead, then you won't get into those situations where you can't use potentially you can't use a solution that you're putting in place.
yeah, absolutely. So one question which I would like to ask also is, um, when you talk about artificial intelligence, a lot of us know ChatGPT,
Yeah,
right? Um, and it can be used in a lot of ways, right, to help business analysts do their work. Um, you also spoke about Power BI. Now, I want to ask you, as Susan Darwish, as a business analyst, right, what AI tools or applications have you found most useful in your work as a business analyst?
I would say the two that you just mentioned right now is definitely Chat GPT and Power BI. And Power BI, not so much because fortunately I had somebody within the team that was an expert in Power BI. So we worked together, but they did most of the work. But those are the two tools that I've been exposed to and really fall on when I need to do something. But just I always keep in mind, especially with ChatGPT, what you're asking them. Just make sure I don't put in information that I want out there in the internet. So um, just if you're asking ChatGPT for something and there is sensitive information, then just change a few things to make sure that it's not out there and you're not exposing company data that you should.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. Thank you so much, Susan. This has been an amazing discussion. It's kind of, giving me a little more insight into the skills that we need to develop as volunteers, how volunteering can help us in our careers. We've also spoken about artificial intelligence. Um, I usually like to close out by asking my guests to give some word of advice to people who are just getting into their areas, right? And for you right now, I would say, what advice would you give to those who are just starting out in business analysis, and how can they succeed and become Susan Darwish tomorrow?
Thank you. I think the main two things is networking. You will find, and I think especially in Calgary, there is the community is not that and people know each other and if you do good within your job, somebody's going to pick you up when they leave the organization.
Yeah,
So first thing is network and you can network through all the events that the IIBA chapter is putting out there. So network and get yourself a mentor. I think one of the most important things is to learn from other people and then also give. So just like how you would volunteer, get a mentor so you can have that person that you can speak to if you have any issues. Get a mentor and be a mentor. Being a mentor helps you also develop your own leadership skills and the IIBA Calgary chapter does definitely has programs for that. But even if it's just somebody at work, another BA friend that you have some type of program between you two in relationship. Meet every month, talk about business analysis. So in summary, network, build your network, go to events, get a mentor, and become a mentor. Those would be, I would say, the three most important things and valuable advice I would give to somebody um, new into the business analysis industry and world.
Thank you so much, Susan. We've had an amazing time with this discussion. It's been very insightful. It's opened my eyes up to a lot of things, and I've learned a lot from it. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best as the VP. And I wish IIBA all the best, as we continue to grow together. Thank you so much, Susan.
Awesome. Thank you, Olumide, and have a great day. Thanks, everyone.